What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Prop Wiz. I'm your host, the Wiz. Today with the show, we're gonna be taking it back to the basics, probably resembling some of the earlier shows that I did when we were knocking out stuff in the garage. And my reason for that is one of my homies reached out to me to see if I could do some custom work on his PC shell or PC case, computer shell, computer case. Look, I don't even know why he sent it to me because I don't even know what it's called, but we're gonna put that work in. His simple directions were basically do what you want. He did send me some photos that had this old Star Wars looking kind of thing, looked like something that might have came out of Blade Runner. Even though he told me I could do what I want, he also said to keep it simple. So I guess he did give me a perimeter of what I can and can't do in that terms. So basically the first thing I'm gonna do is prep it for paint, or at least the sanding process. And then I do got some 3D printed parts that came from like an old R2 that I had printed out, a life-size R2. And then I also went to Lowe's to pick up some pieces and parts. The main thing was some coils that I picked up. Then I'm gonna add to at least one side of the case just to give it some complexity, so it's just not, you know, a box looking thing. There's some dimension to it, some depth to it, and some cracks where we can put weathering or whatnot. All right, so let's check out what we got. Here we go. Just showing off some of the pieces. This right here, this is a grease wax remover. Basically, I just wipe things down anytime I sand something and paint it, so you can see where I did that. In fact, I've already started painting a piece just to test the thing. I had never printed on something that was this kind of metal or aluminum, whatever it is. So I just wanted to make sure that I was able to sand it, wipe it down, paint it, and as you can see, it came out smooth. So that's just to make sure, because man, let's face it, the Prop Wiz is dope, but a lot of this stuff I've learned on the go. And one of the things that I've learned is how paint reacts to different things. If I'm not able to research what something is made out of, which is the case in this, I couldn't find the exact material online to see what this was made of, to make sure that, you know, it wasn't gonna be some kind of funny reaction with certain kind of paints, whatever. But anyway, the test came out good, sitting over there, great. But anyway, these are the 3D pieces. Like I said, came off a life-size R2 that I printed. So these two pieces are old, which is why they're already painted. So I'm gonna have to sand those down. These right here, I just printed. Oh, it does not want to focus. There we go. This right here, I just printed. Two of those. So these were things, it's flat on one side, so it'll fit on there perfectly. These pieces are actually old utility belt pieces that came off this old Batman utility belt that I have, all right? The guy that sent me to this had already put this on here. So this is custom work that he had already did. And that's something that I can remove. And he already put these on. And the beauty with this is this kind of gives me a reference on how the rest should look, because this is an actual piece. So anything that I want to put on there is going to match this to the most part, even how the paint is chipped. All right. Now, as far as the color, we are going to keep the color dark. So instead of black, I'm actually gonna paint it. What is that? Bro, I know you see me recording. Little man, I know you see me recording. Are you just gonna walk up and just start talking?
What are you painting? Did he break that door?
Did he what?
Did he break that door?
Did he break the door?
Yeah.
The Terminator?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. That happened.
Why?
I don't know. Okay, here, let's see if I can get a wider shot of the whole thing. So basically, how it's set up is how I got it, how I'm gonna have it set up for the most part. I got these coil pieces that I'm actually gonna run from this blue thing to there. So basically it's gonna make kind of like an L shape, go around out a little bit there. And I'm thinking about putting an extra one here that's just gonna flatly turn that way. So again, just having these parts just sticking on the outside just gives it just more of that lived in look that you would expect from something like Blade Runner, or more specifically Star Wars. In fact, this whole process of what the guy had already did is very Star Wars, right? Like they probably went to a shipyard or one of those yards that got old airplanes and stuff and just took a bunch of parts. I think they're called gribblies or something like that. And so basically that's what I'm mimicking, man. I just got a whole bunch of just little parts, man. Got pieces left over, 3D printed parts or resin parts from a old Ghostbuster thing. end up not using because I end up buying a real one. And I got this Terminator gun here. This is basically my reference for paint. So this is how I'm gonna paint it, which was I hit it with a black primer and then hit it with a gunmetal kind of gray. And then you can see the silver where I kind of weathered it. So basically that's how the box is gonna look. That's the box right there on the ground. Again, he's got parts that he sent me, which is these switches. So that's it, man. I mean, the basic part is gonna be the painting, but the prep process is gonna be me sanding this down, me securing these pieces to it, which is gonna be a combination of screwing them in as well as gluing them. So the glue being the primary thing, I'm just gonna put probably just a couple of screws on the opposite side just to keep it secure just in case. All right. So not saying I'm gonna use all this stuff, but this is what I got available. And again, his directions were to keep it simple. Like just looking at it now, the one thing that might go is this. This will be the last thing that I put on. This I'm pretty clear on. We're gonna see how it looks and then see if I need to add that just to add a little bit more, again, detail to it. All right, let's get started.
Cherish your dream, a burial beams. Where will we be? I carry the keys of the kingdom. Crown me the king. Call me sire. All three run the MCs. I'm a beast on the beat when I speak on it. You sleep on it. He's on it. Another word, that's me on it. Put the heat on it and never be peace on it. It's all war, warlord like Schwarzenegger, cyborg. No time warp. If not for the culture, then what you ride for? The money, the buy you cars, bling to make you shine more.
We've done a lot of work on this thing, but be honest with you, I did a lot off screen, but some of it is basic stuff you done seen before, but kind of gonna go over and show you what I've done. Now you saw the pieces laid out earlier. Basically, I went ahead and glued and also used screws to secure the 3D printed parts here. Again, these four things came off of a R2-D2 print, stuff that I had left over, well, these two were left over, and then I printed these two from the same files. And this was the coil that I had bought from Lowe's that I kind of just attached, you know, try to put a story together in my head that, you know, maybe energy or power is coming from here to there kind of thing. The last little thing I did get some clamps that I'm gonna use to secure this down. Not that it needs to be secured a lot, it's just one more thing that's not too complex, not too noisy, that'll add detail to this thing and look like it's something that's actually usable. So I got 4 of those things. I'm gonna spread it out throughout here, and they're actually gonna be screwed in, which is gonna give it another level of detail within itself, having those screws at the end. So as I discussed earlier, it's a gunmetal gray overall instead of a black. It's not a whole lot that I can add to the black in terms of dirt and grime will probably blend in to the black. So with this gray, it gives me a little bit more room if I want to go back over and put some spots here and there to make it look like dirt and grime in the cracks or, you know, dripping from things or whatever. But anyway, I think it came out dope. In fact, some of the other pieces, I did paint this. Again, my friend is actually going to put this on himself. My homie VRK, Vincent, actually is 3D printing some kind of box or something for this to be inserted in, and they're going to attach that to the PC frame. So what I did do, I did go ahead and paint it, kind of made the switches look more rusted. Basically anything that was silver made it look not silver, and then weathered that real good. And then of course, the actual frame, I don't know if you guys can see that completely, but this was done. Of course, this piece comes off. I went ahead and did that antique gold and painted the edges black just to give it a little bit of dimension. The rest of the frame, of course, is weathered to match the outside panel. So of course it's not quite ready to go on yet, but you'll see where it kind of go there. So I don't know, dope so far. Got a few pieces to secure. One of my coils came out. So that's it, man. The majority of the thing, I'm gonna glue all the coils on, make sure everything is secure, screw these things in, and that should bring us to the end of the video, man. We'll do a little outro. All right, let's finish it up.
Slow. Yo, I see MCs begging for peace, hoping and praying it cease. It won't long as I breathe. Come on, playing for keeps. While you dream in your sleep, hoping and praying it cease. It won't long as I breathe. And I see MCs begging for peace, hoping and praying it cease. It won't long as I breathe. Come on.
All right, check it. I think we got to a pretty good stopping point, at least with the heavy lifting. There's a few little details here and there that I'm probably gonna add to it. One, I'm probably gonna dirty it up. Yes, I did already weather it, making it look like the paint was scraped with the metal showing. That's one weathering technique. Next, I'm just gonna hit it with some browns, some greens here and there just to make it look dirty. But before I do that, all these pieces that I have on the outside have been both glued, super glued on this side, as well as some of the parts have been screwed in. Most of it, in fact, has been screwed in. What I am gonna do is put a little dab of hot glue on the other side, like where the screws, just so the screws aren't turning, like just to keep everything secure, just to make sure. That's me being overly cautious, probably coming from working with the Proton Pack, not wanting that bad boy to fall apart while it's on your back. But again, the heavy lifting is done. I'm gonna secure that stuff on the inside, and then we're gonna hit it with some airbrush, man. Just put some little details and stuff. Probably some red lines, some stripes here and there. Just kind of things that'll make it look alien, but still feel like part of the Star Wars world a little bit. We'll see. But anyway, it's getting dark out here, so we're gonna take this bad boy inside to do the rest of it, all right?
Rap, I master that noise, goes head Dan Aykroyd. You walk around fat like you can't get trapped in this black void. You see, I'm a beast like all three of the fat boys. My R2 droid out looking for crashed asteroids. 9 out of 10 times, minding my own lies, writing rhymes on the off-time, confined to a timeline with the deep is we're seeking to shine by design. Okay, breathe. Sun up to sundown, build us down. We all trying to get down. My lyrics.
All right, y'all. Definitely reached a good stopping point. This is one of them things you can keep tinkering and tinkering with it until you mess it up. So I think I reached a real good stopping point that I'm happy with. The last little piece that I added were the labels that the client had sent me. He actually ordered them, had them sent here. Really didn't like the way that they looked. They looked real generic, but I was able to cut them up a little bit. And some of them, just the weathering just made it look 1,000 times better, and was able to get it to blend in with what we had going on with the paint. On top of that, I did paint some red lines on there, reminiscent of some of the X-Wing fighters that I printed out and painted. Just those kind of little details to me that seem like there's a meaning. There's no real meaning behind it. Just threw some lines up there. And of course, it was something that I could weather further to get it to blend in, to make it look like the lines were deteriorating, rubbed off, or whatever. Along those same lines, I also added this little triangle design, super duper simple. I just thought after painting this, that this area looked real plain. I thought about putting one of the other stickers here, but again, the stickers, I think they came out good on that side, weathered, but right here on the front, I just thought it would look just cheap. It would just cheapen the whole look of the whole thing. So I went ahead and just painted something. Again, random design, look cool, basically a triangle with a line next to it. Actually, that line actually was the correct mistake, because I actually drew the triangle. It's supposed to just be a triangle, and my triangle was a little far to the left. Put the line to make it even, gave it a graphic design look. Cool, good. I think I talked about the switch already. This is something I'm not sure if they're gonna add or not. He sent it to me. VRK, my homie, is printing a box. I did already talk about this. Anyway, so y'all know about that. Weathered it, added some more labels. Actually, before I box it up, I'm gonna weather those labels a little bit. They're kind of standing out. Yeah, they're standing out a little bit. But overall, I like the way that came out. Looking, I sat it right there, because if I was designing this, that's where I would put it. If it wasn't something that I could actually, cut a hole and actually insert it, actually would be even better. But we'll let them handle that. The last little piece was this little digital reader. I think it's a thermometer that he had already put on there. So again, all I did was just weather it a little bit, gave it that same little brass look that I put on some of the other pieces where it looks like it's kind of rubbing off. All in all, man, I think it looks real dope, man. This is a weird project to work on, to have someone pay you to do. because basically I got paid to make it look like this thing came out of a junkyard somewhere. 95% of the job was weathering it, which is why I added the brass pieces and some of the 3D prints just to add a little bit something else, so it's just not a paint job. Again, hopefully he likes it. He asked to keep it simple. I feel like I pretty much kept it simple, leaving this place more blank. The only thing that I wanted to do that I decided not to, I did want to put some bullet holes or laser holes in there, some dents in there, and weather that to make it look like it was shot at or something. But this aluminum or this metal, whatever this is made out of, it's just been unpredictable for me. Just even the holes that I drilled in it, of course those holes were covered up, so it wasn't a big deal, but it just didn't work out the way that I wanted, and I didn't want to do that and mess this whole thing up. But overall, not adding that didn't ruin it. He asked for simple, we kept it simple. Anyways, y'all, that's it for this episode. Thought this was something cool to share with you guys. It fits in that mold of the Prop Wiz, and in fact, I think it keeps with the spirits of something that came out of the old Star Wars movies, where they were probably going to the junkyard collecting things to add to that stuff, right? One of the coolest things that I learned when I was growing up was to find out that the lightsaber, at least Luke's lightsaber, was actually made out of a Graflex handle that was used for old school cameras with the lights. So these cameras that we probably seen in hundreds of movies, you know, old school movies or even new movies that was replicating something old, to know that they just took that off and put some windshield wiper blades at the end of it and called it a lightsaber was real cool, and definitely one of the things that motivated me to build my own stuff. So even though I was able to use the 3D printer to print some stuff, some of this stuff was found, some of the stuff was laying around. So thought this was a real cool project, especially not having anything in mind, right? Like it's different when you're building a proton pack and you're trying to build this replica that looks like something that already exists in the movie, versus just really using your imagination to come up with something. With that being said, you guys might be looking at this saying, man, that's super duper ugly. But I would be being biased if I was to tell you I disagree. I think it looks dope. Or I should say it looks dope to me. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like the video if you like it, share it with friends. And of course, I would love to hear your comments. Are you feeling it? Are you not feeling it? Would you like to see more projects like this? Have you done something like this? What your technique was? Yo, whatever the case may be, man, leave me some comments. I love seeing y'all comments. Make sure you stay tuned to the channel. We got a whole lot of stuff to review, a lot of movies, a lot of toys that's come in. And of course, we got some props that we'll be working on. So make sure you guys, again, subscribe. Stay tuned. In the meantime, I'll check you guys out later. All right? Peace.
Yeah. This is where we at. You hoping that the world's not broken, but it's cracked. Sad polluted oceans, imagine floating in that. Mr. Frodo holding the ring, turn the soul in them black. Holding it back, whoever consoling them probably focuses that. Dismissing with submissive, supposed to be that. You like a white day walker that's supposed to be black. If your name ain't Wiz, then you supposed to be whack. So relax with the babble, don't be rattled when I chop you in the Adam's apple. With your face that say I'm about to tattle. Yep, your attitude's a sample, a panel of feminine minutes. Some apple bottoms rocking you in the bathroom. Yeah, anyways, cash rules. Before I was cashing you lacking passion, so it passed.